Welcome everyone to Hillcrest Connects, where we briefly want to share with you what it means to meet together as we catch a glimpse of what God is doing in and through our congregation. Today we're excited to have with us Wright. Miles is a member of our church and also a small group leader, and we just want to share with you today a little bit about life groups. Welcome, Miles.
Thank you very much for having me.
So Miles, tell us a little bit about yourself.
We are been with the congregation now at Hillcrest for 7 years. My wife and I moved here with work, and a variety of circumstances thankfully brought us to Hillcrest, and we've been enjoying our time here ever since.
And how long have you been a part of Hillcrest?
When we moved here in 2013, we were looking for a church home, and a friend of mine from work actually had been a member here, and so we kind of thought we'd give it a try and found ourselves a home.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And so you're involved in a small group. Can you tell us a little bit about how that got started and how you got involved?
For sure. We actually were looking for a small group, and we hadn't quite found kind of a group that necessarily worked in our time frame. And then one day we were approached by one of the pastoral team and said that they had some people that were looking for a group and asked if we'd be interested in leading. And so we brought this group of people together and started our life group there. And through all that, we actually had lost several members. One who passed away, and one moved to another community. Actually, two moved to another community, and so we ended up having back to ground zero and started again and added some new members to our group and continued on.
Yeah. So were you involved in a life group before you came to Medicine Hat?
Yeah, we had been involved in a life group with in a community actually in Drumheller, and enjoyed our time and enjoyed the experience. Learned some things about community and how to build that, and trying to incorporate that in what we're doing here.
Yeah, nice. Share with us a little bit about the dynamics of your group, what your group looks like and the people involved.
We're actually quite fortunate. We have all couples. All at fairly much the same stages in life. All kids have grown and are no longer living at home. We're finding that that has been kind of a blessing for us. We've been able to do some marriage things, some couple things, and found that we're enjoying just the opportunity of sharing and praying for each other, encouraging each other as we walk through this new season of our life.
Yeah. And what is it that you like most about life groups?
I'm an introvert, so I like the smallness of that portion. I like the intimacy of being able to have people that actually kind of know who I am a little bit more and know about my story, about know who I am and what I feel, but also that opportunity to get to know other people in that context as well. And we've been enjoying having just different meetings and different connections with that group, both on the larger group level, but also on intimate, on that group, smaller group side as well, as we share different passions and interests.
Have you ever been a part of a Sunday school class or a Bible study?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Can you share with us a little bit about the difference, what you found has maybe better, or what's a little more challenging, or just share with us the differences between the two?
I find that the nice thing about or what I find enjoyable most about life group is when we have a group of people that we've committed to coming together. Bible studies are a little bit different, Bill, in that they seem to be more come and go, and sometimes you lose people for portions and gain new people, so that the dynamics change and shift a little bit. You don't get to have necessarily that deeper connection. Not that the content is different, but it is definitely a little bit chance to check in on with a group of people who will feel comfortable enough to say, instead of maybe going down a video session on right now, we can stop and say, I'm struggling with this, and my child is struggling with that, and we can come along each other and pray and encourage.
And that's really interesting how you see the relationships build and the growth that you have when you're in a small group together. There's a lot of intimacy there.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Is there anything particular that stands out over the years that you've been in life groups, a story or anything you'd like to share with us?
You know, this season of COVID has been interesting for a group. We had a new couple join us just as COVID started. And so we went from meeting in homes at our home and enjoying that to meeting on Zoom. And so we spent about 8 weeks doing that. It kind of challenged us a lot of ways, but it was really interesting to see maintaining that connection, even though it was a different way. Being able to pray for each other, encourage each other was still took place. And we found some, within that group, the group found connection on its own and was able to, find ways of meeting with each other. A couple of our group members went on walks during the lockdown so that they could actually connect that way. Did a few bike rides, did a few things together. And then when restrictions lifted, we were able to come together and we would quite often meet in the Kincooley Park and social distance at an acceptable level. And it was great just to have, I think for me, what I've learned about that process is that how much I needed the group that I didn't think I necessarily realized before, but it was something that I really missing it was difficult. So making sure that we had that connection was important.
Yeah. And is there an event or a story or a challenge that you'd like to share? Is there a challenging event you'd like to share with us?
When we first started our group, we had a couple that was part of our group, and one of the members ended up being diagnosed with cancer. And that was a challenging time. Vibrant, healthy person, knew something wasn't quite right, ended up having a brain tumor, operations, and to continue the group but still pray and support that group and try to be there when needed was a struggle. And then to eventually lose them was definitely a challenge. And it was interesting to see how much the group came along. When the couple was actually going in for their first operation, they were in the midst of moving from one apartment to another in Medicine Hat, and we essentially took the keys and cleaned the apartment, packed all their stuff, moved it to their new place, and got them set up there. Yeah. That is kind of what I felt was our, the Acts 2 story of being able to be breaking bread together and just enjoying that time with each other and caring for each other depending on their needs. So that really came to life at that point for us.
That's an amazing story. For anyone who's maybe interested in a life group or thinking about it, or maybe they're not even thinking about it, is there something you can share to encourage them about the importance and why they should be a part of a life group?
Hillcrest is big, and it's probably the biggest church that I have ever been a part of. And when we first got here, it was a little bit daunting. Some ways it was nice because there was a little bit of anonymity, but eventually that disappeared, and I wanted to, and I should say just myself, my wife and I wanted to be connected and feel a connection to people. Yeah. And we weren't getting that just at Sunday worship. Right. And so even Bible studies, like you said earlier, that wasn't necessarily working in that capacity. So finding a group of people that you share faith with, that you can encourage one another, pray for one another, was vital not only to my faith, but also to my well-being. And I recognize that and needing that. Yeah. So I would encourage anyone to if they're looking for a group, look for a group. Ask, make sure you try it out. Come out and, see what it's like. And if it doesn't work one place, don't give up. Just keep going and find that group that you need to be part of.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thanks for coming in and sharing with us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining with us. To stay connected, sign up on Realm, follow us on our social media sites, or visit us at hillcrestchurch.net.